Okay, folks, so I want to share some of this information from these reports on weather modification activities. There's several of them here. I have several of them here that I have printed out that show different techniques and areas and stuff. So, you know, and I'll put a link in the description and in the comments for the NOAA library. This is from their homepage here for weather modification project reports. You know, just in case you got anybody that still doesn't want to believe that they've been doing it and it's been ongoing. You know, or let's say that you're having a conversation with someone from the younger generation, and they bring up this promising new science of weather modification, all that. You can show them this NOAA website, this NOAA library, and tell them it's something actually that's going on for a long time. They've been doing it for a very long time. So why don't you go and ask them how well that's been going? How's that all these weather modification projects that you've been doing for the last 8 decades going for us? How's it working out for us? Oh, you say we have global warming and climate change and rapid climate change? Gee, how are those weather modification projects you've been doing for the last 8 decades going? Gee, I wonder. Oh no, wait a minute. They can't take any blame for that because it's your mom and your dad's vehicle. It's your carbon emissions. It's your carbon footprint. It's your moms and your grandmoms and your grandpops and your great-grandpops and your great-grandmoms' carbon footprint that destroyed the planet. They're bad people. And we're going to save it, though, with this promising science of weather modification, right? I mean, no, I think that it's absolutely pathetic and shameful that they are brainwashing and providing all this propaganda to these young kids under the age of 18 and then sending them out there into the general populace to confront people and deal with people. Because you can't argue and debate with a child under the age of 18. I can't. I won't debate any of these young kids from these grade schools on this topic, because this is not a topic that they should be promoting with propaganda. It's not a subject that they should be putting these children out on the front lines to have to deal with the opposition. I think that's absolutely shameful and despicable on their part, and it just shows their character. All of these climateers and all of these so-called global scientists and weather scientists that are pushing this whole narrative of this whole carbon footprint thing and about how it's all our fault. I'm so over that. I mean, give me a big fat break. I mean, come on. They're messing around with Mother Nature. And Mother Nature's going to keep poking back. That's the thing about it. They're poking that bear, and the bear has been biting back. And we, down here at ground level, pay the ultimate price. And they don't give a shit. They really don't. They have agendas. And part of that agenda includes creating more governmental dependence. That includes destroying your fucking property so that you don't have anything, and the only thing that you have is to rely on the government to give you what you need to survive. That's their agenda. Don't tell me any different either, because they obviously aren't influencing or preventing any damage from being done from any of the current systems going on, huh? I just find it curious here on their first page where they talk about the history and the scope of their weather modification project reports that in the late 1940s and 1950s, many deemed the deliberate or the inadvertent alteration of atmospheric conditions by human activity, also known as weather modification, as a promising science of the future. Currently, the most common form of weather modification is cloud seeding, which increases rain or snow, usually for the purpose of increasing the local water supply. Weather modification can also have the goal of preventing damaging weather, such as hail or hurricanes, from occurring. Yeah, you're failing on that front. And as far as influencing the local water supplies, you've pretty much destroyed our water supplies. And the proof in that is the fact that every water company that dispenses water from our natural reservoirs has to have this very large, elaborate water treatment plant to detoxify it. So, I mean, what you're doing ain't working. It's time to assess. It's time to reassess and stop, immediately cease and desist any and all weather modifications completely at once here in the U.S. Not allowed. Not in any state, not in any territory, not in any region. Immediately cease and desist for a minimum of 1 year, and let's see what happens with our weather patterns, folks. Can we at least try it? Is that even an option? Or have we reached what they have convinced our local leaders and policy and regulators have been told, that precipice, you know, that point where we've already reached over it. We've already gone to a point where if they're not doing it, it's going to be far worse, that there's going to be far worse catastrophic consequences if they're not altering it. Have we reached that point? Is that what they have convinced our policymakers and our regulators? That we've already gone to that point where if they stop, boy, we're in for it, boy. If they stop, boy, there's going to be consequences if they stop doing this, right, folks? Same thing with if we withdraw from the WHO, right? there's going to be consequences if we get out of the WHO. You know, where we could pay the price, right? Same thing with this weather modification. They've gotten themselves into a position where they feel as though they are indispensable. But let me tell you, you are indispensable, Noah. You are indispensable to all of the climateers and all of the so-called meteorologists and anybody that is pitching any of this type of weather modification technology that includes altering our ecosystem and injecting our ecosystem and our biological systems with foreign agents and foreign compounds. I mean, let's talk. We can go into a roundabout about the CDC and how they do the same thing when it comes to human beings that are born, that immediately they're getting injected with foreign agents. Immediately, their immune system is being influenced by a foreign, unnatural agent. Their natural immune system doesn't even stand a chance. Right from the beginning, science takes a liberty from somebody that they don't have a right to take, period. And it's the same thing with this weather modification. They are taking liberties and doing things that they don't have a right to take. And it's absolutely diabolical. It's been calculated. It's conspiratorial. They are guilty of so many crimes against humanity. It's ridiculous if we were to sit down and really list out all of it. And yet they still continue, right? Oh, because, you know, they're making reports on it, so it's okay. As required by that law, NOAA submitted a report to Congress in 1979, available via the NOAA library. So that's what I've been reading from. That's what you've been, you know, seeing in my previous videos. The report to Congress comes direct from NOAA. That was them, through the Department of Commerce, right? It's just ridiculous to me how long they've been able to get away with it. As stated in Volume 83, Number 19 of the Federal Register, dated Monday, January 29, 2018, only 5 years ago, okay, you've already admitted that you've been doing this type of stuff for the last 8 decades. And it isn't until 2018 when they negotiated with our regulators and our policymakers and agreed that, oh, if you're going to do it, you got to at least report it. The Department of Commerce and the National Atmospheric Administration requires that persons who engage in weather modification activities in the United States shall provide reports prior to and after the activity. This is in Section 6B of Public Law 92-205. I've read that before, too. All non-federal weather modification activities must be reported to the U.S. Secretary of Commerce via the NOAA Weather Program Office. All reports submitted to NOAA are compiled and then posted on the NOAA Library website. All non-federal, right? Again, taking liberties. Who knows what they're doing? Truly. And this is only what we're allowed to see, because it still is subject to NOAA's discretion on what reports that they are given that they end up filing officially, right? Activities subject to reporting. The following, when conducted as weather modification activities, shall be subject to reporting. Seeding or dispersing of any substance into clouds or fog to alter drop size distribution, produce ice crystals or coagulation of droplets, alter the development of hail or lightning, or influence in any way the natural development cycle of clouds or their environment, using fires or heat sources to influence convective circulation or to evaporate fog, modifying the solar radiation exchange of the earth or clouds through the release of gases, dusts, liquids, or aerosols into the atmosphere, modifying the characteristics of land or water surfaces by dusting or treating with powders, liquid sprays, dyes, or other materials, releasing electrically charged or radioactive particles or ions into the atmosphere, applying shock waves, sonic energy sources, or other explosive or acoustic sources to the atmosphere, using aircraft propeller downwash, jet wash, or other sources of artificial wind generation, or using lasers or other sources of electromagnetic radiation. In addition to the activities listed above, other similar activities falling within the definition of weather modification as set forth in 908 are also subject to reporting. The requirement for reporting shall not apply to activities of a purely local nature that can reasonably be expected not to modify the weather outside of the area of operation. This exception is presently restricted to the use of lightning deflection or static discharge devices in aircraft, boats, or buildings, and to the use of small heat sources, fans, fogging devices, aircraft downwash, or sprays to prevent the occurrence of frost in tracks or fields planted with crops susceptible to frost or freeze damage. Also expected from the requirement for reporting are religious activities or other ceremonies, rites, and rituals intended to modify the weather. Would that be like rain dances? The Native Americans doing rain dances? All activities noted in paragraphs A and B of this section are subject to initial reporting. However, after the administrator has received initial notification of a planned activity, he may waive some of the subsequent reporting requirements. This decision to waive certain reporting requirements will be based on the general acceptability from a technical or scientific viewpoint of the apparatus and techniques to be used. So again, it's at the administrator's discretion on what reports we're allowed to see. Other reporting exceptions may be made in the future by rule of the administrator. Is there a specific form to submit? Yep, and that's what these reports are that I'm going to read into. The following forms should be used. 17.4, initial report on weather modification activities. 17.4a, interim activity reports and final report. When creating your reports, please use the following coding system as your NOAA file name: the year, state, first 4 digits of the project name, and the respective report number. So they even tell them how to name their file reports, their report files, right? For instance, for a project that takes place in 2021 in Maryland and is titled Rock Canyon, the code would be 2021 MD Rock-1 for the initial report and 2021 MD Rock-2 for the final report. You may also use this naming convention to save your files prior to submitting. So they're controlling what information, how it's titled, how it's shared, how it should be categorized and labeled. So don't tell me they're not controlling the reports that they are actually publicly allowing to be reported. Okay, I think that it's pretty shameful, and I think that it's pretty diabolical that they are recruiting all of these younger kids, all of these under 18-year-olds, under 16-year-olds, and these grade schoolers, and they're giving them all of this propaganda and stuff, and they're making it seem like it's this promising new science. It's going to save the planet. And they can be good stewards of the planet, too, if they just follow these basic rules on this stuff and just accept the fact that, they're saving the planet with these weather modification techniques. This is how they are selling it to this younger generation. And I think that's absolutely diabolical and shameful, and it just shows their character on how they're willing to face opposition, because they know damn well that the majority of people are not going to stand there and debate a child. And I won't. I won't stand there and debate a child. But I will make sure that a child is informed that there are consequences to these weather modification things, and that it's not a promising new science. And I will make sure that I have some information on hand if I'm aware of a debate that I'm having with any of them. I'm not predicting or anything that I will, but if I just by chance, they want to come and knock on our door and try to canvass and try to pitch this whole global warming thing, I won't hesitate to school them with facts and information and data printed right out. But I'm not going to argue, I just think that it's shameful how they are programming this younger generation to take the blame, and to blame their parents, to blame their grandparents, because it's all our fault. It's all us as consumers, because we're just so gluttonous and we just want all of these stupid things that we don't really need. But while you're doing all of this for the last 8 decades, you've been modifying our weather, and you want to blame us? I don't think so. I really don't think so. It's disgusting. It's really shameful how they have recruited the younger generation and are brainwashing them. But, this video is off track. Sorry. I want to get back into these reports. These are the reports from NOAA that were filed. Just a handful of them. So in this report here, which is dated from November of 2022, and the expected termination date of this weather modification activity was in April of 2023, so just recently. Utah Water Resources Department, North American Weather Consultants. And let's look at their technique. They say that they have approximately 70 ground-based cloud nuclei generators will be used, each generator emitting 8 grams per hour of silver iodide when active. Some remotely operated sites will likely be added to the program, each having a somewhat higher emission rate. In addition, a seeding aircraft is planned for the southern portion of this program and will be based in St. George, Utah. Operational decisions will be made from NAWC offices in Sandy, Utah, and by an NAWC meteorologist in the St. George area. So, this is up in Utah area. And you see, they talk 70 ground-based generators there. And I think, they show a little map here. And you can see where they have them all marked out with their little pin. All along this whole area in central and southern Utah. 70 of them and more. And it says there'll be some remotely operated sites will likely be added to that program. So that's 70 right there. This one here is from November of 2022 to April of 2023. Increased precipitation in select mountainous regions of Central California. What was this one for? This one doesn't really say. Oh, augment snowpack. Purpose of project or activity. Augment the snowpack. Yeah, there's big business in ski resorts, too, because people come here to our ski resorts from all over the world, right? Yeah. This is East Central California. Talks about airborne glaciogenic seeding techniques will be used to treat the specified target areas in the upper Tuolumne River watershed. Seeding will be accomplished by the use of pyrotechnic flares. The aircraft will dispense silver iodide seeding agent at the rate of 16 grams of silver iodide over a period of about 4 minutes, or at the rate of 2 grams of silver iodide over a period of about 1 every minute when storm conditions are favorable. Seeding will be guided by the project meteorologist furnished by Weather Modification LLC, DBA Weather Modification International. And there's Weather Modification LLC, huh? There's another map, kind of showing the area there. Just, anyone that doesn't want to think that this is going on, I mean, it is. We can clearly see, we can read these reports, but even if you just want to say, well, this is just data, all you have to do is just go outside on some days and look up in your sky. Those are not just contrails. And that whole contrail context tag that YouTube puts on there, YouTube needs to understand that's an insult to our intelligence. Especially when we have so much information to support the fact that some of those trails are not just contrails. They are laced with chemicals that would make them chemtrails. Okay, period. If they can use the shortened versions and nicknames for different things, we can use chemtrails in place of contrails. Here's another one. This is from December of 2022 to March of 2023. Increase the snowpack. And they're using 14 ground-based cloud nuclei generators, each generator emitting 8 grams per hour of silver iodide. And this is over Weber Provo river basins over 7,000 feet elevation. So again, they're controlling what gets put into our water source. They're injecting this into our water source, into our water. This is everywhere. They took the liberty of doing something they didn't have any business doing a long time ago and needs to seriously stop. Enough is enough. Here's augment your winter snowpack here on this one. It's from November 2022 to April of 23. Approximately 9 ground-based seeding sites on the western side of the target area. 4 of these sites are the same as those used for the early season snowbird program, Snowbird Ski Resort. So again, feeding a ski resort. The equipment at each site emits 8 grams per hour of silver iodide when active, except on that. Oh my gosh. I think a bug just went in my mouth. Oh my gosh. Yes, it was one of them little flies. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, yeah, yuck. Okay, I had to brush my teeth, so that was just too nasty. I had to. Yeah, I'll probably edit that out. In the case that I do, I just gotta share. I just swallowed a bug. A little bug. It was one of those little gnats. It was gross. I had to brush my teeth. Ugh. Where was I at? I was talking about the ski resort. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty big business there, right? It was talking about the equipment at each site emits 8 grams per hour of silver iodide when active, except for one remotely operated site which will have a somewhat higher emission rate. Operational decisions will be made at NAWC offices in Sandy, Utah. So again, in Salt Lake County is where the location is at. And some of these have an environmental impact statement filed with it as well, but I'm not seeing a lot of those on the NOAA site, so I think that you have to go to the EPA and find that publication or report or something there. But the official title, meteorologist, yeah, all these meteorologists and everybody that is complacent and okay with this are just as guilty for any damages that are done as well. You know, there's showing a little map. Six Creek's target area. The Snowbird Ski Resort is located within the target area, so they're keeping that ski resort up and running, right, with their fake snow. I wonder if they're keeping track of the people that come to the resort, and whether or not those people are having any kind of adverse effects from being exposed to this fake-ass snow and shit. I wonder. Yeah, this is for the Snowbird Ski Resort, augment early season snowpack. Gotta make sure they have that good powder going, that pow-pow, ready for them skiers. November to December 22. 4 ground-based seating sites will be used in the target area. There's 4 more. And the target area is Snowbird Ski Resort. It shows a map there, but it's really hard to see what it is. But, I mean, really, I just wanted to show, look at all of these. Every one of these that talks about it. This is from November until April, November 2022 until April of this year. Okay, and this is in Wyoming. Wyoming Water Development Office is a sponsor for Weather Modification LLC. Now, up to 12 remote-controlled ice nucleus generators sighted west, southwest, and southeast of the range will be used to seed clouds upwind of the range, targeting higher elevations to increase snowpack. The locations of the generators are shown on the attached map. In any seeding event, the generators actually used will be determined by the prevailing wind speed and direction. The number used will depend upon the extent of the seedable conditions over the range. The silver iodide-based seeding agent will be released at a rate of about 25 grams per hour from each active generator. Seeding will be guided by an on-site meteorologist, aided by weather observations and four-dimensional XYZ prognostic numerical models. And again, you got a meteorologist involved in here. Where's the report on this on your local news? How come we don't see our local meteorologists and our local weather reporters giving an update and a report and letting everybody know? Well, today we're going to be firing up these generators over here, and just wanted to let y'all know. Where's that requirement? That should be required, right? Fuck all this paperwork and reporting it. How about you just go right direct to the local news and have your local meteorologist announce it to everybody? Oh, no, wait a minute. If you did that, then too many people would really know exactly what's going on. And you would lose that control. Because more people would be standing up in opposition of it if they really knew exactly what was going on, instead of just thinking that it's just a conspiracy. You don't want to put your meteorologist out there, especially that one that has, you know, a nice big bosom and a nice pretty face to look at, standing there showing you what your weather's going to be like for today. You wouldn't want to give her a script where she would have to tell people that, oh, by the way, they're going to be firing up these generators over here on the side of this hill a few miles to the north of our location, so you can expect to have some silver iodide being injected. I mean, you're not going to give a meteorologist a script like that, are they? And the day that they do, that's when it's going to be all over for them, because that's when more people from the public will actually believe that it's going on because they saw it on their local TV, right? There you go. There, we need to write a letter and make a request that immediately they require all of these weather modification agencies to make a video log and a video report, and that it is sent out to every news station, every local news station surrounding these areas where they are doing these weather modifications needs to give a public report every day that they are doing these. That should be required. How about that? I wonder if we could do that angle. Force them out into the public eye through the television, because most people don't believe it unless they see it on the television anyway, right? And again, you got your Weather Modification, LLC. Don't want to believe that weather modification is real? Just look at all of the agencies that have been created to prop it up. This one here talks about one twin-engine turboprop aircraft will be used to seed supercooled orographic clouds with glaciogenic pyrotechniques. Seeding will be guided by a qualified meteorologist, and again, that could do a live report even. Why don't you do that? If what you're doing is so freaking great and it's saving our planet, how about you do a live report on our local news? How about, I'd like to see that. How about Fox 5? Why don't you break ground on that? Why don't you be the first to do a live report and show them firing up their generators up there on Mount Charleston? How about that? Can we do that? Oh, no, that's right. You wouldn't really want a lot of people to know, huh? Yeah. Aided by weather observations and a four-dimensional, high-resolution prognostic numerical model configured for these specific target areas. The aircraft will be based in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Flight patterns will be approximately at right angles to the prevailing wind at seeding altitude, upwind of the targeted range. Seeding will occur only when the following conditions are met over the targeted range. 1. Supercooled cloud exists upwind and or over the ranges, and 2. The wind direction is such that the proper transport of the cloud ice, thus nucleated, will occur, resulting in snow development from the seeding zone to the target. Seeding rates will be approximately 20 grams every 30 to 60 seconds while the aircraft is encountering supercooled cloud. The ranges to be targeted are the Medicine Bow Range and the Sierra Madre Range within the state of Wyoming. So, again, you're taking the liberty to alter what a supercooled cloud that already exists. You've already said in multiple publications and in multiple techniques and in multiple patents that the process and the way to do this is to, when you see a storm front coming in, a naturally forming storm front coming in, you admit you directly influence that storm front, therefore causing it to develop a more dense cloud structure, and then it comes down in the form of rain or precipitation or snow, right? Well, what about the areas around it? What if that natural cloud structure was meant to just pass over you and just slowly build up a little bit more, and then eventually rain over on another region that's several miles away from your targeted area? What right do you have to intercept that natural cloud structure that has formed and seed it so that it drops down rain or snow ahead of where it normally would have formed? What gives these people the right? Seriously, just because they file these reports, that makes it okay? This is the negotiations that our so-called leaders and our policymakers and regulators have made and negotiated with these agencies that are doing this and with NOAA? That if you're going to do it, just make sure that you're reporting it, right? This one has 33. That's an interesting number too, isn't it? Wow. 33 ground-based generators. This is in western San Juan Mountain. The winter snowpack and precipitation augmentation. This was another recent one as well from Western Weather Consultants. Yeah, and again, taking the liberty. This one is using sodium iodide too. Rate of dispensing material will range from 3 grams to 25 grams per hour depending on cloud-based moisture and temperature, cloud-based height and type. So, yeah, I mean, you're doing things that are altering the atmosphere with natural cloud formations. So explain to me how that is not altering, ultimately, the atmosphere and the rainfall and precipitation over other regions around you. Under any circumstances, it doesn't matter. You can classify your little target area, and you can show these little maps where you're doing this stuff, all that you want. But the physical sciences of it would say, and according to your own technical descriptions of the process of how this works and how you have utilized it in other practices, like as a weapon in other countries, is where you intercept a cloud structure that was naturally formed. So what about all of these other areas around here? That, like, say you got a little cloud structure drifting right over here. When you take control of those things, you know, I mean, oh my gosh, I will most likely edit that out too. The point I was trying to make is that if you take your generators here and you see a cloud system and a storm front coming and you seed it, you are making the decision on what is going to happen with that cloud structure. And if you seed it enough times, which you've proven over and over again, that you can make it rain over a certain region, you can exhaust that natural cloud structure out and then it just dissipates. And what about all of these other areas all the way around it? What if that natural cloud structure, that natural storm that was forming, wanted to just gradually build up as it went over your location here, over your target location here? What if it wanted to gradually build up and then build up and build up and then maybe rain on another area over here, maybe to the south or to the southwest, that has been drying up for the last 6 decades hard? You know, don't tell me this is okay just because you report it in these files. Do not tell me that it's okay. I'm sorry to get so upset, folks. I'm not sorry, really, but I know that upsets a lot of people, especially when I use cuss words, but I can't help it. This is frustrating to me. That we went from, you know, it's just a conspiracy theory that they're not doing anything like this, to now in 2018, that because they created this reporting system, that it's okay. Where is the reconciliation period? I swear, there has got to be some level of a reconciliation period. There has to be a point where people like me that have been pointing this out for a very long time get to stand there on our podium and say, I told you so. Damn it. Come on. If not through my videos, I could say, I told you so, but I can't, you know, it's the same thing with you. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? Well, I believe that once people are actually led to this information and they're made aware of it, if they walk away and they're not questioning it, at the very least questioning it, and just accepting that narrative that this is for our own good, then you are no better and no different than any of these climateurs and these meteorologists that support this stuff. That they know, they've already done the studies, they've been doing it so long, they already know what the long-term effects are. They already know. And we're just supposed to sit down here at ground zero and take it? It's so diabolical how they have brainwashed the younger generation. I can't debate them on it. I can't. All I can do is maybe educate them and let them know That you're being told that this is a promising new science that's going to save the planet, but I'm going to tell you, it's not. It's been around for a very long time, and it's actually doing damage. It's actually harming our planet. That's what these children need to be told. They need to be told the facts and the truth. That some of these operations do more damage than harm, and the risk outweighs the benefits. Enough is enough. This outfit has 15 ground-based generators. This one using an airplane. This one has 27. I mean, they're everywhere. Some of them use other agents, too. This is another one that is a continuation of a program. And then they use the seeding aircraft. Aircraft seeding would be conducted upwind of the target along custom seed tracks using ejectable and end-burning flares. And again, seed tracks will be determined based on forecasts of the vertical wind profiles, okay? So again, they're monitoring the weather, and when they see something coming in, they screw around with it. They're taking the liberty to screw around with it, but they're not taking the responsibility when it goes bad. And I can tell you right now that record-breaking size hail and storm systems that is ripping through our country right now and in the U.S. is not natural. It is a direct result of them and their weather modification projects that is influencing it. Don't kid yourselves. They're not trying to save our planet. They're trying to control it. They're trying to control nature, and they will never, ever be able to control it. It will always lash back, and it will always prevail. That is absolutely terrifying that they know that too. They know they cannot win, but they continue. And we continue to suffer the losses at ground zero. You know, over here in Nevada, folks, I'm telling y'all, somebody needs to let all of those people that are building all of those houses up there on those hills, even at Lake Las Vegas and then up there on Black Mountain, somebody needs to let those people know that they are doing these seeding techniques, and they have been. And that they plan on installing more of those cloud seeding generators around the valley, which is going to create more dense cloud structures and more downpours. And those people building their houses up there on those hills are going to come sliding down. I bet you when the real estate agent is selling those properties and those houses to those people buying them, they're not telling them that, oh, by the way, be aware in the future, the Desert Research Institute and several other agencies are going to be installing more of these cloud seeding generators around the valley, which is going to produce more rains and torrential downpours, which has the potential to cause flash flooding and possible mudslides and sinkholes. Just so that you know, before you buy that house up on the side of that hill, I'm willing to bet you that's nowhere in the real estate agent's conversation with anybody buying property on those houses up there. And you know how I know that that's going to happen? Is because it's already been proven through the multiple reports just alone that have been reported through NOAA and that have been publicly known going on in California. What is California known for? They have mudslides. They've had mudslides for decades. And horrible issues with flash flooding in certain areas. And yeah, you can blame it on global warming all that you want, but the bottom line is, you can also directly link it to their weather modification projects. So again, I have to wonder, any of y'all that are buying any property around in this valley right now better be aware. There's going to be more flash flooding. There's going to be mudslides, and there is going to be sinkholes if they are allowed to continue to install these cloud seeding generators around our valley. They've already been doing it long enough, and they've been building up more equipment. And in that one article that I read in a previous video on the media fluff reports, back when that bill was first introduced back in February, the local media did a big fluff report on it, talking about it. Just know and understand that if we make more demands as far as requiring more reporting done to the public, as far as like maybe getting them to expose themselves more, by requiring them to do local reports on the local news. When our meteorologist is on that screen, he knows that it's in his contract. He needs to let people know that are living near these target areas within a certain mile and range that they're doing these projects. Because ultimately, like I pointed out in that map, if there is a natural cloud structure or storm system headed this way and they directly influence it and cause it to drop rain or snow in a region that is, in front of another region, so to speak, like I explained, they are denying that one region there that rain that might have normally have come through. If that natural cloud structure just wanted to slowly build up over time, it would have affected a different region. So again, they have no right. They've taken too much liberty. Enough is enough. And I think one of the ways that maybe we could go about it is to write some letters to our local legislators and our so-called regulators and policymakers and let them know that, you know what, okay, you want them to do it? Then do go a little bit further other than just having them report it to the weather modification website through NOAA, because most people aren't going to go to their website and look through all of the files and go through all of the hoops like I did. Most people are not going to bother. But if they're watching their local news in the morning, or, you know, within I would say they would be required to give public notice, and using a meteorologist, since there's already a meteorologist on site, that meteorologist should be required to do a video report, and that gets aired on the local news. How about we require that too? If you want to do it, you can report it, but you also have to report it on your local news so that more people are aware of it, because I guarantee you that if more people are aware that it's actually going on, more people will be standing up and opposing it, and they wouldn't be just able to get away with it. They would have to face their opposition. Period. Anyway, I need to go do something else because I'm getting frustrated enough. And I appreciate you watching and dealing with all of my little rants and stuff. I'll share some more information from these reports. If anybody's interested, just let me know. I'll go through and read some more of the details because it's pretty interesting. Maybe I'll go through and do a count of the number of these generators through some of these publications that I already have printed out. I just have a handful of these reports. And some of them go back to, like, this one here goes back to, like, 2000. This was 23 years ago, this report here. This was for the Kings River Conservation District in California. And again, this is more proof right here. How many freaking mudslides and catastrophic weather events involving torrential downpours and rain have occurred out here in California as a direct result of these weather modification techniques that are filed in this report, talking about them directly influencing natural storm systems coming in to the coast. So, and again, I have to wonder, really, is this stuff that is being, oh, there's another, that's interesting too. Operational Plan for Weather Modification Project, Western Kansas Weather Modification from 2014. Maybe I'll look into a little bit of that too, but here out in California on the West Coast, I gotta wonder, has this been, influenced by some foreign adversaries? That they came in a long time ago and with this, plan to influence the slow destruction of our natural resources and our land through these weather modification techniques and shit. I gotta wonder, are we being influenced from an outside-in type of a thing, and these people that are in charge of this don't necessarily know that they're involved in a master plan, a long-term plan to have us destroy our natural resources ourselves from the inside out, and then, just another country just sitting back and laughing at us like, oh my God, can you believe they accepted that whole zero-scape thing? Oh my gosh, they're so foolish, they're such idiots. The rest of the world sees us as fools and idiots, folks, just in case y'all might not be aware. A lot of other countries see us as fools and idiots. And it would not surprise me if some of these climateers and these meteorologists and these so-called people and these geoengineering sciences and scientists are just so damn ignorant that they cannot see that the information that they've been given was intended to destroy our natural resources from the inside out. And they've just been playing along with it because they've been getting a paycheck, and they're too ignorant to really look at the bigger picture, and they're too naive to believe that another country would give us horrible advice on how to be stewards of our land and our natural resources, right? Because no other country would do that. No. Because it's not like we haven't done that either, right? Oh, yeah. This video is too long. You can see, too, they're talking about using aircraft, using the weather radar system. So I'll read into some more of these in another video, but I need to go move around and do something different because it's frustrating. Thanks for watching. Know that I appreciate it. Please stay tuned. Please stay safe and mindful. There are a lot of distractions right now, folks, and I'm hoping that this video will just give you a little bit more of an edge and give you a little bit more fuel if you are, come across anybody that doubts that this type of stuff is going on and you want to convince them and maybe give them a little bit of information. Send them to this NOAA Weather Modification Project report website, and they can look up the weather reports themselves, the Weather Modification Project reports. And that's, like I said, just a sampling. That's all just the non-federal. They're not listing out the federal ones, and I think that's disgusting and shameful. Thanks for watching.
We've got the generators in places, both north and south. We've got generators on Charleston, the Rubies, here. They're ready. We had the program stood up and has been there for 10 years. They're ready. We had the program stood up and has been there for 10 years. Has been there for 10 years. If we're going to front through, we need to seat it. technical questions because I just know what they look like. The generators, that is. Thank you. If we get a front through, we need to seat it. If we get a front through, we need to seat it.
If we get a front through, we need to seat it.
South, we've got generators on Charleston, the Rubies here and they're ready. We had the program stood up and has been there for 10 years. We had the program stood up and has been there for 10 years. If we get a front through, we need to seat it. If we get a front through, we need to seat it. Any technical questions because I just know what they look like. The generators, that is. Thank you. If we get a front through, we need to seat it. If we get a front through, we need to seat it.
If we get a front through, we need to seat it.